Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mar. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9 hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep, go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is. Oh, whoa. Here's my brother. Oh, whoa. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. We back on. All right.
We back.
Yeah. Hey, y'all know what it is. It's Taco Tuesday. So, hey, we wild out on Tuesdays normally. Myself, Wildcard Mark, pleasure to be here with the Brody. That is Randy Weber, who didn't have a nickname this week. You could have said I was still right when I was wrong. I still said Thunder.
That's true, because I had that nickname on the other show, so I could have carried it over.
Speaking of, shout out to Bobby G. Myself, Bobby G. Randy had the recap of the finals, Game 7 on Sunday. You can go on over to the I.O.W podcast YouTube channel. Check that out if you want to. But hey, y'all know the deal is, man. Let's get to it. Obviously, we got to get to it. Yeah. What's good, Omar? Hey, shout out to Omar, Ballin' Buds, Sports and Entertainment. Just had a fantastic show for the last 2 hours on his channel with Omar. He had Bobby G on there as well, and Melvin Wall. Shout out to Melvin Wall, Man Down Sports. They had a great. And I forgot the other gentleman's name. So if you can, Omar, put his name in the chat and his YouTube channel. I thought he had some great information as well. There's some good knowledge of basketball. As you see the headline, it's NBA off season 2025. A lot of moves have gone down. Some started before the finals ended. Obviously, the Desmond Bane trade pretty much kicked it off Sunday as Game 7 was finishing up. The KD trade happened before the Game 7. So that happened on Sunday. And then you get to today. Late last night, and I actually reported this as I was doing a show last night. The Drew Holiday trade, I was fortunate enough, my timing was on point that I was able to report that as that broke as I was doing a show. And then other trades today. Man. So Jay at Unfair Sports Show, y'all definitely tap in with his content. He has some good stuff on there as well. So, man, Randy, where do you want to start, man? Because off season is now in full gear. Whatever trade you want to talk about first, trades that happened today. Go ahead, man. It's been a lot of movement so far.
I mean, we could do it in order. Let's talk about the Drew Holiday trade first. We could do the Kristaps trade, and then we could do the CJ and Jordan Poole trade.
Do that. All right. Go ahead, kick it off. What's your thoughts on that? Obviously, that Drew Holiday goes to Portland. Anthony Simons now in Boston. That's one part of the, reconfiguration going on in Boston. Obviously, the next trade, Kristaps, is another piece. But go ahead, start with that one right there.
So my initial, before even thinking about like the cap and the front office stuff and everything like that, was I don't think Anthony Simons and 2 picks is worth Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday is so much better of a player than Simons, and I don't think the 2 seconds, especially considering how usually worthless second round picks are for NBA drafts. My initial thought was, why would the Celtics want to give it up? But the reasons why that do make sense is they moved a huge cap burden off of themselves, a huge contractual obligation off of themselves, and Drew is older.
Yeah.
So I think he's 37. He's going to be, yeah. So you're not going to get him for, he's literally the same age as KD, who I've been railing that team should try to avoid a lot, partly because of that. So I can't say that I don't get it. It makes sense. I get why they would do it. I think they could have gotten more for Drew Holiday. So that's my criticism of the Celtics is I think you could have held out for more. I think teams would have been, especially a team in like the win now stages, may have been willing to bank more for an all defensive point guard. That being said, Celtics ends. Those are my thoughts. Trailblazers end. It kind of, I mean, obviously the opposite, right? Like you're getting a significantly better player than you gave up, but you are getting an older one. You probably won't be able to most optimally utilize the fact that you have Drew Holiday because you're nowhere near pushing for a win now team. You're going to need years to build a team around here to make it worth it to go for Drew. And you probably don't have years with him.
He got buyout written all over him.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need the money and time to build around him for it to be worth it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So I get wanting just the upgrade in the player, but I don't think it was the best long-term strategy for them. That's my thoughts on both ends. I don't love it for either team, but I understand the logic for both teams. What do you think?
No, so obviously I definitely agree with the financial cap that you move off of Drew Holiday. That makes 100% sense for Boston, but I actually kind of like what they actually did and won in this situation in the trade because the upside of Anthony Simons that can be with him, you get the youth that's on that side. And you can, hopefully at some point in time mold him into, I guess, I don't want to say the player that you want, but it definitely at some point highlight the good things that he can do. I mean, the guys, even this was probably one of his down years and still almost averaged, 20 points a season. So
yeah, he's a good player for sure. Like I didn't even mean to undersell him. Just obviously he's not Drew Holiday. He's a good player with a lot of upside, and he's young for sure.
And so, like for instance, average pretty much. I'll say so. Okay, let's call it 19. He averaged that this year down here in Portland. 23 year before, 21 before that, 17 when he started to flourish. And that was back in 21. All right, so that's when he started. You seeing the maturity of his game. So now, 3 years later, now you're looking like, all right, you're starting to get a handle on this, NBA thing. Then let's take it to another level. And I'm not sure of his contract status or situation. That probably looked more appealing for Boston and say, hey, if we get something great out of the Anthony Simon, he's still averaging 20 plus. Maybe we can find a way to fit him in with Tatum, with Jaylen Brown. And of course, that's a mystery. You don't know what that situation is.
Yes.
So I actually kind of like Anthony Simons in Boston, still 26. As a matter of fact, just turned 26. So
and it also does make sense, I think, for them in addition to moving off of Drew's contract, you're bringing in Simons, who's on a pretty low contract, and they already have a bunch of players that are on big contracts, right? So they've, especially with the Kristaps move on top of it, now they have given themselves room to work around and get better, more expensive players to put with Tatum and Brown because they're not putting as much money into their starting five, which is, I guess, kind of the same. The thing that I was talking about with the Trailblazers, which is, okay, now you have a lot of money going into one player.
Yeah.
How are you going to afford to build a good team around him?
See, and that's the thing. I think they're just really in such a whole rebuild mode that they're just going to acquire assets and see what the hell happens with these assets that comes with it. Because right now, Portland is really in they're not in any position to make it even a play-in run. So, I mean, we're at that point. You just got to just rebuild and keep trying to find pieces that you can help. That at least show promise that, hey, he might be a nice building block. Let's keep him. If not, move him. So look, Portland is just a vessel to for other teams to acquire what they need to get done. And if you ask me, right now, Anthony Simons is probably, I don't want to say probably their most valuable piece, but he's just one of those pieces where you're like, all right, he has value. Other than that, ain't too much on his roster that's going to be worth to move. So,
yeah.
But I think Boston, if you really think about what Boston is really doing, so the only three people that really paid are Derek White, Tatum, and Brown. Because they gave Derek White the contract, I think, before this past season that just ended. And of course, Brown and Tatum have both already gotten their contract. So
yeah, and they're going to be moving Peyton Pritchard to be the starting point guard, most likely, who's not on a really expensive contract himself.
Cheap. Yeah, real cheap. So I think they're. This is when I say the rich people move. When you got a lot of money, all right, let's cut out some assets that that I can get rid of some value, get some back, but that's when you start penny pinching, and that's how all right, I could still live this lavish lifestyle, but I might cut back on paying this much for this object, so and so, and just kind of like I don't want to say being cheap, but when you are really you're being more smart with their money, if that makes sense. Because contract makes a lot of sense. That makes perfect sense.
I do think the Celtics, just between the two moves, and I especially understand the Kristaps move because he's barely there.
Yeah,
I understand the logic of it. I do think that this might be the sign of them potentially overreacting a little bit to the fact that Tatum's not going to be there next season and not thinking beyond next season. I understand the logic behind these two trades.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it kind of looks like they're having a bit of a fire sale. And I don't know if they need to do that because the core is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
And Tatum's not going to be there for most of next year, but then there's the year after that he'll be there for. He's still not that old. Like Tatum's what, like in his early 30s? He's not that old.
25, 26 still.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mid 20s. I don't know if they need to completely blow it up. I think that after these two moves and then maybe couple little small moves, they should be set. I don't think they need to do anything else drastic after this. That's kind of where I'm at. It gives me the sign of we're trying to blow it up, which I think would be a mistake.
Yeah. Georges Niang, I don't know. I guess that was just trying to facilitate the trade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. Pardon my ignorance. Maybe I don't see much of his name adding value to the Celtics. So it's when you kind of see the return on some of these trades. Like I don't mind the return on Anthony Simons. I really don't. It's the return of like a Georges Niang in that trade and some other picks that got swapped in that Porzingis trade, and I'm just kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird because Porzingis literally his body mode is unique like a Wemby, and the problem is we've seen potential from him since the beginning, since he was in New York. We've seen potential. And then he, goes to Dallas, and then he goes to Boston, and now he's on the move again. It's like he was that a unicorn that has so much potential that you thought dude was going to like do something amazing, and it just never came around on a consistent basis. You got flashes of it, and you got flashes of it in Boston. All right, they won the championship, so it's kind of like, all right, well, we've hit our ceiling. Now it's kind of like you gave us flashes again this past season, and then you come up with the injury, and that's kind of always kind of been his nagging bug, his availability.
Yeah, so, there are those players where it's like teams hold on to them too long because just like when this guy's on the court, when we do have him, he's a great player, right? Like 76ers with Joel Embiid or the Pelicans with Zion, right? Yep. Like it's like we want you for the potential, but it's like, but it's been years and they aren't living up to it because they're not there. Like, don't hold on to the point where they don't have value anymore. And I think that if they had done this a year ago, they could have gotten more for Kristaps.
Yeah, because he came off a championship, definitely, for sure.
Exactly. I think now the fact that they're doing this now was later than it should have been, and I think that's why they ended up having to get less for him. I think that's kind of the problem is they waited too long with him. I do think they needed to move off of him, but I think they should have done it like a year ago.
Oh yeah. Hey, sometimes, like I said, I said it many times. Hate Belichick. We said it on the show, but the man knew when to get off some stuff and get value at his peak before it went the other way.
Especially since Kristaps was, when he was there, good in the finals, right? Like he showed something that could make a team be like, okay, if we can keep him healthy, we can build around him. Like he's a very good player.
Here's the crazy thing about Kristaps, and peep this out: the kid's still 29.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right?
He'll be 30 in August 2nd. He'll be 30. All right. If he can correct the injury things, the guy still has time to fix it and actually has enough time to actually turn the narrative around on his career. Like literally, say for the next 8 years, he turns the narrative around, he stays healthy and actually lives up to the potential and then he's not team hopping. Say Atlanta's is his last stop, all right? And he actually stays healthy and actually lives up to his frame of being 7'4", crazy wingspan, being literally a unicorn. Like we're talking Wemby unicorn body style. He is that same body style. And he flourishes for the next 8 years. The man can literally mess around and probably sneak his ass into the Hall of Fame with 8 years if he does it right.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's a big if because
huge if.
The older you get, the worse. Especially if you already have injury problems, the harder it is to get past it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is a big if. What do you like this move for the Hawks? What do you think? What do you think the team looks like now with him? Do you think it's a good move?
Well, it's depends on how you use them. I mean, obviously, it makes perfect sense to make sure that you get a coach that's going to highlight the high pick and roll with him and Trey. Obviously, that comes to mind off bat. It's like, oh, come on, that's easy money right there. Just get the high pick and roll and make people defend you. How you're going to defend it? Because if it works right, if they try to smother on Trey, then that's when Kristaps, being the body style that he has, can control that from the high pick and roll to the paint on the offensive side. That should be his bread and butter right there. Oh, you're gonna, depending on how you try to take the pick away, I'm cutting straight to the bucket. You better have a defender ready to take on a 7'4" guy. What's up? And he can shoot. The guy can shoot.
Yeah, he can shoot.
He can shoot. So his range is not just limited to at the goal. So he can take literally from bucket all the way up to the 3-point line.
He He's a 3-level scorer with also a good defender, right? Like he's like a perfect prototype if you can get him on the court.
On the court.
And I think that Trey also, I think this does make sense for Trey if Kristaps can stay healthy, because although Kristaps hasn't been this, if he is healthy, I think he has the talent and potential to be a number one option for a good team. I think the reason why the Hawks have always been in the position that they were in is because Trey's not a star. I don't think he was ever really meant to be a star. I think he was a star for them by circumstance. But I think that was it, right? Like, I mean, if you look at his stats from this year, right, like pretty horribly inefficient both as a shooter and at the rim. He's a cone as a defender, right? But he's a really good passer.
Hey, don't disrespect that, man. He's a moving cone as a defender. All right. You say
Bro,
that?
you and I would probably be better defenders than him.
and just look, I hate picking.
Looks like a lollipop, bro. Like, like how are you? If you look like a lollipop that fell on a rug, if you're that skinny, bro, like who are you? How are you going to defend anybody?
And that was going to be my, like, I hate to make fun of his size, but is he Trey's not even cracking 6'4". I mean 6 foot if I'm correct. Like 6'1", maybe.
I think he might be 6'1", and the height is part of it, but it's also just because he's so skinny.
Small. He's skinny.
Crazy skinny, bro. Like who are you locking up, bro? Like of course he's not a good defender.
And that's what really scares me with Trey, and this is why I agree with you that he wasn't a star, because he can have moments where he gets hot and he doesn't ice coach. I get it. He can get hot.
Nice try.
But the only problem is that Ice Trey ain't filled all the time. It ain't. And if he's taking a punishment on the defensive side, because these guards are getting bigger. SGA and Tyrese are 6'5", 6'6". Like these are bigger guards. I hate to talk about Desmond Bane and the draft picks he got 4 again, but he's 6'6", solid 215, 220. What is little Trey going to how are we going to guard that guy? Because
he's a 2 guard, isn't he?
But at some point in time,
I mean, yeah, you still,
if the switch happens, I would. Anyway, regardless, I would make a offensive plan to make sure that I get my best guard on Trey Young in any type of offensive production, because he's just going to physically be bigger than him.
Yep. Yeah. No.
I'm gonna pick on his ass all 48 minutes and make you literally pick as a coach and say, hey, is his offense worthy enough to keep him on the floor? Because you keep him on the floor, I'm gonna have his lunch on the defensive side, and I'm gonna keep picking at him. And what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
make a decision, because at that point, he's a liability, and I can't have a liability on the court.
Right, exactly. And like it's not even like he's always had bad teams or anything, and that's why he hasn't been able. Like before the trade from this trade deadline, the team was solid enough. Like, you had DeJounte Murray. Like, the team was solid enough that, like, if he was really that guy, if he was really a star, they could have at least made the playoffs, right? Like, it's just because that's not him. He's not him. And I think that if you make him a traditional pass-first point guard for Kristaps being the star, and he's the main scorer, he's the best defender, but Trey's the one who's feeding him, and he'll take shots when they're there, when Kristaps is getting double teamed, when he's open, whatever.
It could work.
I think that can work. Yes. I don't think that that's going to make them a threat, but I think that it would be the best way to use this group to get something out of them.
Hey, Randy, I call that a solid play-in tournament team. They're gonna make some noise in the play-in tournament. They might win that 9-10 seed game, and then they might push the loser 8-7 to a exciting game. But it's I just think that organization fell victim to that playoff run he had when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and was like, we got to keep Trey. And I just think that the guy is just too much of a liability on the defensive side, and people look.
And he's not a good scorer either. Like
It will. Look,
he's not a good shooter. Look at he's horribly inefficient from 3. He's inefficient from the field, and he had the worst efficiency in the NBA at the cup, right? Like as a finisher. He can't be your top scorer.
I'm with you on that one for sure. That I would run it through Kristaps.
Yeah.
I would, but like you said, it's all depending on the actual, availability of Kristaps. Because looking at some of their other guys that's on this roster, they're really made up of more vet guys as kind of trying to find their way.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's after the trade, the team around those two is not very good. So that's another thing, right? Like even if Kristaps does work out, it's not like you have a good team now.
No.
Like they had a much better. They had a better team before the trade deadline. Now it was just kind of Trey and like a bunch of nonsense. So if Kristaps can elevate it if he stays healthy, but only so much.
One salary that I'm looking at with them, Clint Capella over here making $22 million. I would try to restructure that.
Yeah, facts.
But
no way, ain't no way.
But at the same time, Trey Young's making 43. I would try to.
It's like Trey, like bro, like you want to win, like you're gonna need to restructure that. Let me get you some help.
I mean, we see it in football all the time. Say what you want, like or hate Brady. I'm not a fan of him, but he took less money all the time to put something around it.
That's what Jalen Brunson did.
Yeah,
to get his Nova boys
to build the team. And I think that's another problem that I thought when Atlanta jumped out there and gave Trey that extension. I'm like, you sure you don't want no more proof that the guy can take your squad deep into the playoff run? You sure?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I do. I would have liked more proof that he can do it.
Yeah, I don't think you give one guy crazy money like that unless you or bring him in as like the final piece to like a team that's ready to compete. And that was not the Hawks at any point. Like Brunson taking that pay cut, like, well, now you can get Mikal Bridges, now you can get Cat, right? Like, imagine had he not, right? Like, where would the Knicks be if he had been selfish? Like you're right with Brady. He's the perfect example. Like, where would Brady have been had he been selfish with the money?
Mahomes.
Yeah.
There are people who are willing to say, hey, and I get Mahomes and Brady are in different situations because Brady had the situation where at the wife at the time, Giselle Munchin she was getting money. She was getting more than him, right? Money. She was getting in that fashion model international money was crazy. She was getting crazy money. And also, why even worry about getting the football money right now when you can build around me? Tom was at that point in time was doing plenty of endorsements, getting money on that shit. Same with Mahomes. He's got plenty of endorsement money. So it's like, hey, build the team. Because that's how. Because if you want to win, you gotta trade. You're not that guy to do that on your own.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's not too many guys in NBA history that can say that. Oh man, I had literally had dog shit around me, but I got these championships. Yeah. There's not too many guys walking this God's green earth that could probably say that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that on Sunday. Like, we named 5 like people in NBA history that can say that they did it at least once.
Yeah, tough, man. It's tough. But hey, I never took Atlanta serious after that ECF. It's just how they, deconstructed the pieces that were there. Moved off of John Collins. Okay, move off the Hunter. You brought DeJounte Murray in. Now you already moved off of him already. So it's kind of like y'all been throwing everything at the wall and everything has already disappeared. But for some reason, the constant is Trae Young. And I'm just confused on how are you making him your constant?
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Let's talk about the most recent one. I think it was the most recent one. Pelicans and Wizards. CJ McCollum and Jordan Poole. What do you think about that? And before let me get the full details unless you have them already.
Yeah, New Orleans Pelicans trade guard CJ McCollum, center Kelly Olynyk, and a future second round pick to Washington Wizards for guard Jordan Poole. They get Sadiq Bey. They get the 40th pick out of that too. So that's what Washington is getting.
Okay.
I mean, that's what New Orleans.
That's what New Orleans.
Yes. So Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, 40th pick goes to New Orleans. CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk in a future second round goes to Washington. Obviously, CJ is getting to that point where he's about to hit his mid-30s. September, he'll be 34. Obviously, the guy, he can average 20 points a game. That's not the issue. That's never been my issue with CJ. It's, just being honest, we've seen it in Portland. We've seen it in even in New Orleans at times. Availability and when he's available. We've seen some horrific injuries for him in Portland, but then when he gets to New Orleans, we're like, okay, 21. He, I believe he had a injury or something like that. Yeah, because he got traded that year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he played half the season in New Orleans. Portland was relatively healthy for that second year he was in New Orleans, his first full season. Then a couple of years ago, stayed relatively healthy, and then this past year, missed some time. His injuries seem to always pop up around playoff time. And correct me if I'm wrong. My memory is like, I'm like, damn, was CJ hurt again in playoff time? It was happening in Portland because modern times Dame was supposed to be running with CJ, and all of a sudden, playoff time come around and CJ got hurt, and you're like, damn, bro, like, where'd you go? Then he goes to New Orleans. They go on that magical run a couple years ago, and then I think he wasn't available towards the end of that playoff series. I'm like, damn, man, like, damn. Look, he's going to Washington. We know what happens when you go to Washington. The NBA is saying this is your last stop before you get up out of here, bro. That's where we're at with CJ. Tell me when I'm lying, dog.
No. I feel that. And I get it from New Orleans' perspective. I get moving on from CJ because of the injuries and the age. Understand it. You couldn't get any better than Jordan Poole for that. You didn't want to shop around a little more. You didn't want to. You didn't want to send for like a couple days. Just send some flyers, like, hey, anyone before we take this one.
Nothing. You just that's the only thing that's really about this trade is like, damn, Jordan Poole found a way to get out of Washington, and your ass is going to Washington, getting stuck there.
And Washington found a way to get out of that horrible Jordan Poole contract.
Yes, and that tech shit is terrible, bro.
Bro, what? New Orleans saw that and were like, we'll take that. That's crazy to me. Like, and it's the way that the trade is structured, like it's a relatively even trade. Like it's almost as if they're equivalent players. They're not. Like CJ's injured a lot, but he's at least good when he's there.
I swear it's like a complete like cancel out. Let's find a way to like what you need out this trade. I need to get rid of this guy. You need to get rid of that guy and some of his money. Let's make something happen.
Yeah, for real. Like I don't think either team's better now. Like Washington has some more money. That's it. I don't think Washington's a good Well, I mean, they were obviously they were not going to be a good team, but I don't even know if they're necessarily a better team.
Here's the problem I have with New Orleans. All right, pretty much 36.7 million sitting on Zion, 29.5 sitting on DeJounte Murray, 29.6 sitting on Jordan Poole, 23 sitting on Bruce Brown. You got a lot of money invested in a lot of potential and Jordan Poole. So
Potential Jordan Poole.
yeah, I don't know about Jordan Poole, bro. Like that whole yeah, that's like literally that's almost damn near 120 million off the names I just read off right there, based off a potential Jordan Poole, and I'm just like, yeah, that your cap is looking funky because you can't justify any of that money going to any of them dudes right there.
Why can't New Orleans teams figure out cap? Like it's the same. The Saints have been in the Saints have had the same debt as the U.S. federal government since the Drew Brees era, and now the Pelicans with this. Like, what is it about New Orleans teams and managing money? I don't know. It's a very weird, interesting pattern.
You know what they do? They go, hey man, let's just make it happen. We'll figure it out down the line.
yeah. No, I guess that's basically the problem. But yeah, no, I mean honestly, like I think I would give both of these moves on an F on both sides, right? Like
It's
I don't
pointless.
yeah, I don't get it. And like honestly, if it were me, I think I would have done a deal with Zion and tried to make a package with Zion and CJ and try to like get some real value. Right? Like they got to move on from Zion. He's given them nothing he's just injured all the time.
Yeah, but hey, they're sitting there looking at that potential, dog, and they just keep. But to be honest, I mean, I guess they save a little money. So, because I mean, Washington, on the other hand, check this out. You listen to these names. They got 20.2 sitting on Marcus Smart. 31.6 on Chris Middleton, 33.3 on CJ McCollum, 22.5 on Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh man.
Hey fam. Hey, bro, I'm in the wrong fucking business. I wish I would have never put down the basketball, dog. Because I'm telling you, bro, Cats is over here getting easy fucking money. Like, you go to Washington, you are literally getting paid to just be bullshitting, bro, because they ain't winning a damn thing, bro.
Yeah. No, that's I don't get it. Like I don't know. That's kind of crazy to me. I mean, we'll see. Maybe these are both parts of like these are moves that are going to lead to other moves. Like maybe but like even then, like it's not like either anything that they got has enough value to move around. Like, are you going to package Jordan Poole with Zion? I mean, look, New Orleans is only between the two of them. They have one player that has like some value, and that's Zion.
And so at this point, if I'm a GM, I ain't willing to break the house for that one.
Yeah. So I don't know. that's kind of just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, if this was ever a pointless trade in NBA history, I'm nominating this one.
Yeah.
I'm nominating this one because nobody's a needle mover in none of this. All of them got a whole bunch of money tied to their names on both sides of this, and they not worth a damn. All right.
Wait, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, but no, man. It's been a lot of movement. This is I mean, I don't blame Chris Middleton for staying and watching. He's like, well, I won a championship. I'll pick up my option and get that 33.3. So I ain't mad at Pimp. But yeah, pointless trade. So that was a lot of movement. Here's one move. Kyrie He's declining his $43 million player option with the Dallas Mavericks and intends to sign a 3-year, $119 million contract with the franchise. I mean, not sure when they expected him to get back, but okay, sure.
Okay, hold on. I missed the first part of that deal. What was this? What's this Kyrie thing?
So Kyrie declined his $43 million player option.
Okay.
And then he ended up signing a 3-year, $119 million contract. So pretty much they just ripped that contract up and just did a new one. So he's staying in Dallas.
That's a long time for someone as old and injury prone as Kyrie.
Well, to be fair, he gave him almost pretty much like a $4 million discount, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's what it was. So, but it was more like, I guess that's the best way I could frame it. Because instead of taking the $43 million this year, you take $39.6.
So I'll give Dallas some slack on that, in that because they're getting Cooper Flog now, and he's going to be on a rookie deal. Between him, Kyrie, and AD, with guys like PJ Washington, Gafford, Lively, they have a team. If Kyrie and AD can both stay healthy, they have a team that they could push for the next 2 years and see what they could do with. Right. I think that I can understand the logic of
a slight open window.
Yeah, exactly. Our window is now anyway.
Yeah.
If at the end of Kyrie's contract we haven't done it, we're going to be blowing up anyway, probably. Yeah. So
of course, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get as much talent around Cooper Flog as we have right now. We don't have to pay Cooper Flog that much, and he has AD and Kyrie basically to learn from on top of it. So we have 3 really good, talented top players. Well, we don't know how good Cooper Flog's going to be. We have 2 really talented top players. We have a rookie with a lot of promise, and then we have a really a good supporting cast around them. Let's try to push. Let's try to make the move now. I can understand the logic from that point.
No doubt. Let's talk about a couple of names that we haven't heard yet that I think are going to make some moves. The biggest one to me, and I said it last night, NBA likes to throw some fireworks in the offseason, and they usually like to do it around the 4th of July. Look out for Giannis. That's to me, that's the biggest domino that I don't know if the move has already been made, but you definitely drop that closer to 4th of July. That just makes sense to me. I've seen the NBA doing that. Remember when KD got traded to Golden State? That was around the 4th of July. There was a couple other moves that's happened around the 4th of July. If I remember correctly, I think LeBron made his announcement around the 4th of July. I can't remember, so don't jump at me, Brownites. I can't remember for sure. But you've seen a lot of big names as a big movement. So that's why when they did that KD move, I was like, okay, just get rid of it, done now. Because for me, I just think the sizzle just ain't there no more.
It may also have been because that was the day of the Game 7. So they were like, this is a day where people are paying attention to the NBA a lot. So maybe that was their reasoning for it.
True. That could have been a good strategic move in that one too. But I know we kind of slightly talked about it before, but to me, this is the time that you move Giannis. And where would you move him?
I would move. I mean, my first favorite landing spot for him is San Antonio. I think that makes the most sense for both teams. I think that San Antonio is in a good position because they have two of their 3 best players are rookies on rookie deals. You have De'Aaron Fox, so a team with De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, Giannis, and Steven Castle as your core.
That's nasty, bro.
Long-term value there. Even though Giannis is in his early 30s, right? That's a good window. You can afford to give a Giannis that much money. You have a bunch of bullshit for the entire rest of the team that you're happy to get rid of to get a Giannis. I don't know if Milwaukee would take a bunch of bullshit for Giannis. They probably won't. But as long as you're not moving Wemby, I think you're okay moving with some combination of the other guys to get Giannis. I probably wouldn't touch Fox either.
I wouldn't touch neither one of them. If I'm San Antonio, if Milwaukee asks for him, I'm hanging up the phone immediately. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, right. Because like you can't Wemby and Giannis. I don't know how well just those two would work together with their skill sets. I think you need a Fox to be their facilitator. So I think they're in a. I think that's the perfect team to be the ones to take Giannis. OKC has a lot of picks,
Ooh!
and they have a lot of youth.
Shut up. I literally just said that on my show. So like, ooh, my goodness.
Look, I don't want it because that means the Knicks won't get a chip in my lifetime if that happens. But
Goodness, that's
But-
nasty work, bro. I was
Yeah.
just thinking that because like, and here's what I would give up. I would send Chet Holmgren to the first thing flying to Milwaukee to get him,
yep,
and wouldn't bat an eye.
they have the depth. If they make a package with Chet Holmgren, one other dude, some picks. I don't know what Giannis what they would expect with Giannis. You could put 3 dudes and some picks. You have the depth where the plus Giannis, you've probably made an upgrade.
I wouldn't bat an eye. I would send Chet Holmgren flying to Milwaukee. I'm like, yep.
Yep. Yeah. For real, first class, bro. Like, yeah, Chet.
Yeah, I at least do that. I send you first class, bro. Thank you for the championship, but you gotta go.
Uh-huh.
It is crazy that you brought OKC into the equation because I was talking about them last night and the potential of a dynasty that they could build. Obviously, Windhurst dropped the take and he was like, hey, they could lock up Chet Holmgren. They could lock up Jay Will if they wanted to right now this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's your core, all right? And we've seen what the great championship teams in the NBA do. You lock your core down, all right?
Yeah.
You lock them down and you build around it, and anything else is interchangeable around that. But just imagine you don't pay Chet, you pay J-Dub, and you send him and swap him out with Giannis. That's a core. That's different. That's not just a core. That's a core. You got championship DNA. Obviously, I know Chet has it now, but you're swapping them out with literally another MVP in your starting 5.
Yeah, and also star defender, right? Because that's your biggest strength with Chet. You're replacing with an even better defender.
Yes, literally a defensive player of the year candidate. And I correct me if I'm wrong. I think Giannis is
He's won it.
Player of the year.
Yeah.
So you're talking about elite defender. Say what you want about his bag. Similar to LeBron, if he just throws his body 20 miles per hour to the rim, he's going to make you make a business decision. What are you going to do? So that's his bag. Is I'm going to find a way to get to the cup. That's his bag. All right.
Yeah.
And that works.
Trying to guard Giannis and Shea is going to be nuts, right? Like, what do you do? So I think that OKC is another team that, for a team that is in the position to offer something that would be worth it for them to offer, I think they do make sense. Obviously, nobody's going to like that unless you're from Oklahoma City, but they have youth, they have depth, they have picks, and nobody on the team is an insane amount of money. So they're the team that would make sense to do. Obviously, my pick is San Antonio, but OKC is another one that I think could give up enough to be worth it for them to give up for Giannis.
So here's why I like your San Antonio pick. Send Harrison Barnes in his 18 million. Devin Vassell, who's 24 at shooting guard. So I would say Milwaukee needs a guard. Send both of those. Devin Vassell is at 29.3. So put them 2 in that deal. Send them to Milwaukee. Get Giannis back. Y'all can work out the conversation. Here's the kicker. Wemby's only at 12.7 on that rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
That looks lovely.
Yeah, facts, man. It's just like, yeah, well, we got money to spend.
That looks lovely. I mean, literally, your star player is cheap. He'd be the cheapest on your roster between him, D Fox, and Giannis. He'd be the cheapest. Because D Fox is coming in at 34.8. I'm gonna pull up Giannis's in a second, but like, bro, you're not killing your cap. That makes a lot of sense for San Antonio to make that move, because when you're not killing your cap and you got 3 of the greatest players on the planet Earth in your top 10, I don't care right now on planet Earth, I would say you got Wemby is in, Giannis is in there. De'Aaron Fox might make your top 20.
Yeah, top 20, top 25.
Yeah. So, and it ain't breaking your bank. So Giannis is at 48.7.
Plus the rookie of the year from this year is another young guy on that team if you don't move him in the trade.
Nah, Milwaukee's gonna ask for that. They got to. You gotta get. I mean,
Yeah.
if you move off of Giannis, like, you still gotta. I know you want him, San Antonio, but don't try to know Vaseline this situation, bro. Like,
yeah, no, that's true, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like, I guess the downside from San Antonio's end is they don't have a lot of players that are. They don't have a lot of good players. They have a couple of good players. They have 3, and if Milwaukee's giving Giannis, they're going to ask for one of them. So it's got to be worth it as an overall package.
oh yeah, and Milwaukee's not going to be an idiot. So that's why, as much as I love your take with them going to San Antonio, because that's probably one of the teams that I thought off gate would have made the trade. And I actually thought that they should probably, I don't know how true they were into the KD sweepstakes, but I actually didn't mind if they went after KD, because that opens up your window for like just a quick moment.
Yeah.
Imagine KD, De'Aaron Fox, and Wemby in your starting 5. That'd have been crazy. So, but yeah, look. At the end of the day, I think it makes a lot more sense to go to OKC when you got that much assets. They got so many damn picks and money over the next few years. It's ridiculous.
They are gonna be the dynasty. They're gonna be the team that breaks the just passing around the championship streak. Like, I see it. Like, I don't see any reason that they're not going to be as good next year as they were this year.
But you know what's crazy though? If they feel like none of these players are going to work out and they don't pay them, don't give them the contract extension, no worries. I got the assets to move off you and get value for you and just do a quick reset. But it's not a rebuild, and it's damn sure it's more like a quick retool.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, they can retool. Like, if they make a trade with Chet in some package, like, they swap him out and get a couple of guys or one guy that's more reliable, or whatever they end up doing there, right? Like, the team's now either a lateral move, which makes them a championship caliber team still, or they're even better.
Any player that comes to mind outside the name Giannis that you think make perfect sense for either your team or a team to go get him? It's like, is there a name that you think that, man, come on, man, this guy needs to, his situation ain't no good, let's move this guy, go get him, he would add value to somebody?
I mean, if Giannis goes, Dame probably goes. I don't see why Dame would want to stick around there. Which, I mean, I know that how much he loves loyalty, but he's done it once.
Yeah, but if I'm a team, I'm not touching Dame no more.
Yeah.
I'm off Dame. I'm sorry.
Injured 2 playoffs back to back.
Yeah. You're getting up there in age, and you're not showing that your body can hold up. And so at this point, I'm like,
If you're asking about a player that I want my team to get, if I want the Knicks to get, I don't want them to make any big splashes for a player right now, because we already have a depth problem. I want us to go in the reverse direction. I want to take one of the top 5 guys.
Man, y'all need a coach, bro. Why don't y'all handle that shit first, huh?
Okay. Yes. We need a coach.
Hey, because
But once we get that coach, I want him to have the best situation possible, and I think that would be made the best by doing a reverse trade where we trade one of our top players, preferably Mikal Bridges, if someone's got to do it, to get some depth. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not looking for a big splash play. I think that we just made the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't want us to overreact. I think I want us to address our weakness, which was depth.
Yeah.
And Bridges was inconsistent enough that I think it makes sense if anyone it goes to 10.
Okay, so I'm gonna run down these salaries. OG 36.6. Mikal 23.3. Jalen Brunson, your star, 24.9. Josh Hart 18.1. Mitchell Robinson 14.3. Cat 49.2. That's that Cat.
Yeah.
Ooh, bro.
Because I mean, if you look at those numbers, right, like Bridges is not very expensive. I guess if you were to make an argument for keeping him, like that would be the argument. Yeah. I mean, like I've said before, like OG and Bridges do kind of have redundant skill sets. I think that OG is.
That's what I'm glad you picked it up before it came out of my mouth, because I'm looking like I like OG, but that 36.6 looks like, bro. I hate you for that one, bro.
And plus, at least if you do that instead of Bridges, you can at least keep the Nova core together with the chemistry they bring. I'd pick up the phone. I'd pick up the phone. See how many solid rotational players we can get for him.
OG, hey, if Devin Bain can go for the first round pick, he went.
Oh yeah, no, for real. OG, we could get a lot for if that's the standard.
If that's the standard.
Which is also like, I think I do want to. The market for players is all over the place right now. Like nobody knows what anybody's worth. I think that's like the big thing, right? Like we've seen so many, it's just like that's the best you could get for him, or you gave up that much for him. It's like there's no consistent standard for what people are worth, right? Like you just have to find a team desperate enough. Like that's more than anything.
And that's the thing, because like I guess so when you see things like that happen, and I get it, Orlando needs 3-point shooting. That's what Bain does. I get that. So I equated to if you feel like that person can really solve that problem that you got, then okay. Like for instance, I was like, Rudy Gobert got how many picks? And then you see what his impact for Minnesota is. His rim protecting, his rebound was what they missing. They weren't getting that from Cat, just him down there by himself.
They've consistently been one of the best defenses in the NBA since getting him.
Exactly. So
it's right, because value is subjective, right? So like it does make sense, like that different teams will value players at a different rate.
Because they feel that individual can absolutely affect the problems that we have as our team. So if that's how they feel, I'm not going to knock them, but it's still going to look funny when it comes down on the paper, like that many picks. But then I thought about it, Randy. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I just think when you look at how NFL values their draft picks in that game, because obviously numbers wise, you're filling a 53-man roster, you need your depth, and you got to find it, and you got to hone in on that. This NBA, it's, you're talking 15 tops, so 15, 16, so more condensed. And you got to make sure you hit the spots that you need. I understand the disparity in it, but for some reason, it's just that. And nowadays, if you look how the NBA draft is going, pretty much once you get out those lottery picks, you better hope some of those picks can even last on your roster.
Yeah, no, for sure. A first round pick in the NFL is worth a lot.
Yeah,
in the NBA, it's worth shit, right? Like that's just how it goes.
Yeah. It's like the value just doesn't equate in the same sense. I don't know if that plays a part into the talent pool that you are dipping into, especially going into the draft now. Because I'll be honest, it's been hard for me to understand where the talent is coming from past your lottery picks. Because some of these guys I just never heard of. Some are whether they're overseas, as we've been seeing lately in the NBA draft. First round is, especially in the first 15 picks, you got guys with just countries by their names. They ain't going to no college or, some type of one of those other leagues. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to evaluate where you're going to find the talent out in the draft. I mean, we talked about even last year, Bronny goes 55th in the second round. He's the most talked about 55th pick ever in NBA history.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, and just because of his name. Just because of who he is.
Dang.
Not because he was like that much better than other 55th picks.
So I mean, it's.
We didn't talk about the last part of the Kristaps trade for the Nets. The Nets got Terrence Mann, and what else did they get?
And I like Terrence Mann. He's a solid a role player.
I like him too. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if the Nets have become better as a result of it, but right now they're building, they're moving. They're slowly tooling their way into relevancy right now. So like
they're trying, but they still got a lot to do. I mean, I still don't trust that management group.
Yeah,
that's right. A story for another day.
Do you want to get into the ESPN brought out their all-century list, all-century team? We talked about that over the weekend. You want to talk about that?
Oh, you got to pull it up somewhere? I ain't got it in front of me.
I got it.
All right, go ahead.
All right. All right. So ESPN put out their all-quarter century list. PFF also did theirs, but we'll talk about the ESPN one. Talked about the rosters for the best teams, the best players of the 21st century up until this point. Some of which were kind of obvious, others were very controversial. One of which is a Chief, so I thought you might have some very interesting things to say about him and maybe even defend him.
Hey, if you got a link to it, send it to me. I'll pull it up.
All right, got you.
Send it to the messenger.
Yep. All right, just send it.
But as I pull it up, go ahead and kick it off at that top of that list, Randy.
Okay, so quarterbacks, they did 3. I'm not sure what metric they use to determine like how many players per position, but for quarterbacks they went 3, and not very surprising. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes were the 3 that they chose. I think that they all make sense in terms of the relative dominance over the last quarter century. Tom Brady obviously having 7 rings within that time. Peyton Manning having the most MVPs. Patrick Mahomes having 3 championships, never missing an AFC championship game. Running basically the entire period after Brady. There are some other names obviously you could talk about and maybe debate. Like you could debate Manning versus Rodgers or Manning versus Breeze. Do you have any thoughts on the quarterback so far? Pretty standard.
Yeah. Obviously you're talking about guys who are going to have the stats and the championships. So I got no beef with it.
So running backs is one of the first points where it gets really interesting. Whoa. Now running back 1, not even just made the list. Running back 1 was the most controversial part of this. Priest Holmes. And then the other 2, CMC and Derrick Henry. So tell the people about Priest Holmes.
Okay,
Lamar.
so his run was crazy. All right. And he had a lot of people forget he was behind Jamal Lewis in Baltimore, but when he got to Kansas City, Dick Vermeil was able to unlock something crazy out of Priest Holmes. I mean, broke the single season touchdown record. I mean, the guy, he was behind a great offensive line here in Kansas City for majority of his time. Like the run he went on from 01 to 03, just those 3 seasons, crazy numbers. I'm actually kind of surprised that he made it over LT. I'm actually surprised about that.
That was one of the people who people brought up as really not LT. Yeah, LT, Adrian Peterson,
And
Marshawn Lynch.
Man, so many names that I think in that period that this is going off of, and they chose. Look, he was a touchdown machine. So back in those times where if you were doing fantasy and you had Priest Holmes on your squad, he get you some touchdowns. So, and I think that's probably why the writers, whoever did this, whatever formula they came up with, they used that. But the only problem I had with Priest is towards the end of his run, his career got cut short, took some bad injuries, and just was never the same. He tried to do a couple of comebacks and it just wasn't the same. He was like, nah, this ain't the same dude. So
they clearly valued peak over longevity with that for sure.
Oh yeah.
And which is, I mean, I guess it makes some sense with running backs, right? Because a lot of them didn't have crazy longevity. So I guess I understand that, but I don't even think I would have put CMC over LaDainian Tomlinson. I don't like LaDainian Tomlinson would have been the first one that I thought of. Peterson probably also. I
was surprised that even if you're looking at CMC, and don't get me wrong, I love his durability, not his
durability.
Probably one of the knocks I got against him is the durability.
Yeah,
his
versatility.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yes,
because that's pretty much unmatched. For me, the only person that's really matching his versatility is Saquon and at times Bijan Robinson.
But from the entire 21st century, you want to talk about versatility, LT. That's another thing that he even has there. I think it's a little funky. Henry, I think, has to be there just because, I mean, he had the 2,000-yard season in Tennessee of all places, where he's been just consistent dominance for a really long time. Doesn't have a horrible injury history either. Like, he has good longevity.
Yeah.
But I think LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson probably would have made sense to join him. Maybe also Marshawn Lynch. The crazy part, they met. It's not like they forgot about LaDainian Tomlinson. He just made the practice squad.
See, but the crazy thing is and Priest Holmes and LT were both doing their damage at the same time. And LT just carried his on a little bit longer than Priest Holmes. So that's why I'm surprised at that one.
Yeah. And again, you want to talk about touchdown machines? How about the single season touchdown? Like, I thought you might be able to make a good case against him.
No, because at the time Priest Holmes owned that record. Year later, LT said, "Nah, I got it, pimp," and he broke his. So it's kind of like if you're doing a comparison, I love Priest Holmes, but his run was just it got cut short. LT he got the longevity for me, and he was still productive on his way out in the Jets uniform. So I just loved his versatility, what he did. End up with a gold jacket, rightfully so. And Adrian Peterson, the only knock I got against Adrian Peterson is the ass whooping he gave his son that he got in trouble for. I saw that fight he got in the other day, and he ain't no boxer, so he should have.
If this was an all human beings team for the 21st century, he wouldn't have made that. But then a lot of football players would.
Hey fam, I saw that video the other day. I said, "Hey P, come on, man. I know your son looking at this shit like, hey man, hey, why ain't you whoop his ass like you whoop me?" Like,
he needs smaller opponents. It was unfair. He was too grown.
said he was too grown. Hey, yo, I'm so clipping that. Agent Peterson gonna be mad at me. He gonna tell me you take that shit down. Nah, that shit funny, bro. You got over there, got worked on that damn poker game, and your son like, man, you whooping my ass, and you went there, got in trouble for it. You should have at least brought that same fury to this dude, Pops. What's up? Like, damn. All right, let's move on.
Okay, all right. So fullbacks, no one cares about fullbacks.
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk's the only one. One of the two that I can name. The only other one is CJ Ham because I pick him in Madden because I like the name CJ Ham. But we can skip that. That probably makes sense.
Now here's the gusto right here.
All right, so 6 wide receivers, and they choose Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron. They choose Julio Jones. They choose T.O. Marvin Harrison, and Justin Jefferson.
The only present one. Wow.
And there's someone who didn't make the team or the practice squad that is, at very least, he should have made the practice squad. Larry Fitz.
Yo, that's crazy.
Didn't make the team or the practice squad. I get Antonio Brown and Andre Johnson. I understand why they would, but I think Fitz had to be fit here somewhere, especially with 6. Who do you take? But the question is, who do you take
off? Ooh. Okay, so all right. So here's the thing. All right, so you're talking about longevity. Obviously, you talk about Randy Moss, his whole career. You know what he done. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Megatron, you know the mismatch he is. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I would probably.
Julio Jones is the yards per game leader. I think Jefferson may have gotten past him there, but I wouldn't touch Julio Jones either.
Okay, so here's my thing with Julio. So look at Julio compared to those Calvin, all right, a Randy.
Also a great mismatch. I mean, not to Megatron's level, but
a T.O. I couldn't take Julio over T.O. That's me.
Okay, T.O. did have some drop issues. I'm keeping T.O. on the list too. I think if I had to move anyone here, I might move Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
Because of he had Peyton Manning and was
Reggie Wayne had another
Reggie Wayne
on the other side who was a number 1.
Yeah, so I think he had a lot of help. I think if you had to, I mean, you're nitpicking, right? Like these are all top.
You got to nitpick at this point in time because you're talking about a whole bunch of Hall of Famers, right?
yeah, exactly. Like these are all like top 10, top 15 caliber wide receivers. Even Justin Jefferson. A lot of people were talking about Justin Jefferson because, like, well, he didn't do it long enough. Like, okay, but like, how many records does he already have, right?
I have no issue having Justin Jefferson here, and here's why: because of what we've seen already in a short amount of period of time, and he's just going to get better.
Yeah. He has the most receiving yards for the amount of years he's played, and he did it with Kirk Cousins and then Sam Darnold.
Like, come on, bro. He is not getting Hall of Famers throwing him the football. All right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I don't even think the practice squad is good enough for Fitz. I think if I had to switch him with anyone, I mean, the crazy hands he had, the elite hands Fitz had, I think Harrison would have to be the one that I would choose. There are also, I mean, some others that we could talk about, like Tyreek Hill was another one.
Ooh.
That's, like, what do you do there? Second greatest deep threat ever behind Randy Moss.
You know, the crazy thing is Tyreek just, and I know he's small, but the guy is hella strong for his size. But his speed is so crazy that it's the ultimate weapon that you just, what do you do with it? Like, I've seen it obviously when he was in Kansas City, and I've seen it when he's in Miami. Like, dudes is already trying to back up already 10 yards on him. because if you don't get your hands on him, if you try to press him and you don't get your hands on him because he's that quick, he's gone. He's out of there. But if you try to get nervous and you're already in your back pedal after the ball has just been hyped, he uses his speed. He's learned over the years how to use his speed as his weapon. Where are you going to give me that much gap? So, and his curl routes, his in routes are slowly getting pristine because they're so scared of that speed. You give him all the space and he'll just eat underneath, and then you try to jam him, and then he's off, and then he's gone and he's past you. So he's had the fortunate to be with Andy Reid, and whether you like Mike McDaniel or not, he's shown that he's a good offensive play caller, offensive coach. So he's always putting Tyreek in good positions to shine in Miami. Unfortunately, you just don't get the same consistency as in the Tua from Patrick Mahomes. So that's the only drop off. But
yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Like, he has shown that he can do it without arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, I mean, that was his like almost record-breaking season was with Tua.
Yeah,
and he also did have, he benefited from being opposite Waddle, who also had crazy speed and made it as a unit was great, and as it worked. I think Tua is a very underrated quarterback. I think that he is, but I don't think he's not Patrick Mahomes. Right? He's not like he's not the reason why you're doing well. So I don't know what you do with Tyreek Hill here. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is another one. I mean,
I was about to say that. I was about to say right here at the practice squad, you could have put any name. You could have put like almost damn near 15,000 names, right?
Yeah, for real. In a short time. I mean, like I'm a bit of a homer, and I think OBJ, but like he just didn't have, his peak was just too short. So if you have to cut anybody, I get cutting him. But one of the best peaks of any wide receiver ever. It just wasn't long enough. Yeah. So I mean that was another really hard one.
Yeah, that position was, I think that'd have been real tough for me to just narrow down. I'd be like, I can only get 6. Like, damn.
yeah. That one's rough, but I understand the choices they made. I don't think it's crazy.
No. I don't think there was no wrong answers right there, really. So
facts. Okay. Tight ends. Tight ends were also, I think, pretty obvious. Gronk, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
And Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
You got 2 Chiefs in there.
Yeah.
You should be so proud.
Trust me, that I just talked about that with my man Chris on our Chief podcast. And I was like, man, ain't that something? 2 of the best tight ends in the history of the game are Chiefs. And I was like, yeah, trust me, that's something to stick my hat on. I don't care what Tony Gonzalez said. You spent 5 years in Atlanta, 12 in Kansas City. You're a Chief. All right. So
the only name I think that, well, I mean, he made the practice squad, Antonio Gates. I think there was some debate whether it was Gonzalez or Gates gets that 3rd spot. I think Gonzalez edging him out is correct. What you agree with that?
Yeah.
From a non-biased perspective?
No, from a non-biased perspective, look, Tony Gonzalez had a hell of a career, Hall of Famer. Antonio Gates just got in the Hall of Fame. Had a hell deservedly had a hell of a career. Literally, if I think if Tony Gonzalez would have stuck to basketball, that'd have been Antonio Gates' name that they would have talked about in the same praise that they did Tony Gonzalez. Unfortunately, Tony Gonzalez did exist and decided to play football, and he was damn good at it. But that is not a knock on Antonio Gates, because you're talking about when people had those debates when they talk about, oh, is it Gronk or is it Kelce, or is it Kelce or is it Kittle? You were having that conversation in those times. Is it Gonzalez or is it Gates? It was like, which one do you really prefer? Because
I'm sure you're happy that 2 Chiefs also beat out a division rival's to best tight end.
Because that'll probably be the only greatest thing that ever happened to that whole Charger organization is a LT and a Antonio Gates. Other than that,
and Rivers still couldn't win shit with those 2 guys. That's crazy.
Not a damn thing. Went 15-2 and still Marty Schottenheimer still got out coached by Belichick. So 14-2, my fault. 16 games back in those days, but regardless, now people can have the debate where you want to put these 3 tight ends. I would personally go Trav 1, Tony 2, and then Gronk, only off just injury and availability. Obviously, we know if okay, I put it to you this way: if you give Gronk's body the ability to stay healthy and not have the injuries that he has, he's wiping the floor with Tony Gonzalez and he's wiping the floor with Travis Kelce, numbers wise. Right, wiping the floor with him, especially in touchdowns. Gronk was just such a freak athlete for his size and such a mismatch. Like the ultimate mismatch in football was probably Rob Gronkowski, and
he was the all-around tight end too. Like he was also a great blocker.
He loved blocking. He loved getting dirty and getting physical. That was his game. But damn it, if when it came to when Tom needed a play, you knew he was going to 87. And the problem is you had nobody on your roster to stop him. Nobody. You can't put a defensive lineman on them. They don't have the agility. All right. There's not a defensive end freakish athlete enough that probably could have stuck with him. All right. It's not possible. Linebackers not fast enough, and they damn sure probably weren't big enough. The guy was 6'7", like almost 240. All right.
Do you think the fact that Gronk, because the tight end position has kind of become being a large wide receiver in a lot of ways over time. Do you think the fact that Gronkowski was able to do it all from the position, whereas Kelce is the best receiving tight end, but he isn't the all-around guy, do you think that would be a reason for keeping Gronk in the one spot, or do you think the receiving dominance and the postseason dominance is so high for Kelce that you put him over on that basis? Although, I mean, Gronkowski also a postseason threat.
Hey, Gronk got some postseason number 2, so
yeah, exactly. So it's mostly how much do you value the all-around game versus the receiving game being better at the receiving specifically.
That's when you're splitting hairs. How am I running my offense? If I'm going to be geared to more running the football and being a more balanced offense, Gronk is your guy. And to an extent, Tony Gonzalez is your guy. He was a great blocker. If you're looking for now offense in today's NFL, where, like you said, I'm looking for that tight end that's going to, spread the field and pretty much the intermediate routes is all his doing, and definitely that middle of the field is his playground. That's Kelce. Find your zone, sit down, let me get these catches and get some yak. That's your guy. Tony Gonzalez had that in him too, but with Gronk, just him being just literally, you had zero answers for him. Zero. His body just didn't hold up. If he literally has Travis Kelce's longevity, Tony Gonzalez's longevity, any record that belonged to a tight end would have Gronkowski's name right next to it. Literally. Every last one of them. I just think that's how great of a player he was.
Yes.
When your body fails you, it fails you. And it just didn't give him that opportunity to have that all-time career at that position. He was going to revolutionize that position.
Yeah.
And now that position has now moved to like you said, a big receiving threat, Brock Bowers is about to be that guy.
Yep.
He's about to be that guy that's about to take that tight end. He's about to do what we thought Darren Waller was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like literally freak athlete. There's absolutely he's way too big for anybody to cover. But now he is like, you know what I'm saying? When you add speed to Gronk, that's what you got with Brock Bowers.
That's what I was hoping Darren Waller would be, and then he spent 1 year with us, and then now he's making rap songs. So,
Hey, and Brock Bowers is a physical guy, so you add that to his finesse game, he's going to tear the damn league up. So, but I like that tight end position. I think that's probably that and quarterback right now are probably the most no-brainers.
Yeah. Okay. So for left tackles, because they separated left tackles and right tackles. For left tackles, they did Joe Thomas and Trent Williams.
No-brainer.
Yeah. Trent, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Left guards.
You don't even got to talk about it.
Yeah. Left guards, Alan Faneka and who was the one under Steve Hutchinson? Yeah.
That's a no-brainer too.
Yep. Center. Yeah, Jason Kelsey. Although Creed Humphrey has the chance over time to surpass him, but right now it's Jason Kelsey.
Over time, but he can't beat Kelsey's resume right now. It just wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, not yet. Zach Martin for right guard and
Marshall.
Yeah. Okay. I think both those make sense. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, yeah. When you come to the trenches, and it's kind of hard to find those guys that are better than him. That's why they had those long careers too. So
yeah, right tackle Lane Johnson and Willie Anderson. I think both of those make a lot of sense. I mean, Lane Johnson has been the best right tackle in football for a very long time, just like Trent Williams for the left, right? Like both of them have a lot more longevity than most tackles, and peak and longevity, they've both been the best for a pretty long period of time. I think those are washes. Willie Anderson, also great. I think he deserves that spot.
My only pushback to Willie Anderson, I would probably, Mitchell Schwartz. That might be a little personal bias, but I thought he had a hell of a career in Cleveland before he got to Kansas City at that right side. Like he wasn't the equivalent of having Joe Thomas in Cleveland, but he was damn pretty solid in the AFC North many years in Cleveland before he got to Kansas City. So that's my only pushback. But I got no problem with it overall. But now
edge rushers, I have some thoughts. So DeMarcus Ware, Jared Allen, and Myles Garrett.
I don't hate that.
And Julius Peppers. All right. So, and then the practice squad is TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. Now, this is not me being a homer. Michael Strahan absolutely should be on that list. He absolutely should be on that list. That's
wait a minute. Wait, hold on. All right. Hold on. ESPN. All right. Woo. Hold on for a second. No disrespect to my man Jared Allen. Love what he did. I got no beef with Myles Garrett. DeMarcus Ware was a monster. Julius Peppers. Oh, yeah. Just sticks out like a sore thumb, Jared Allen right here. I'm sorry. I'll say it for you. Michael Strahan, I would have swapped that out in a heartbeat.
Yep.
I would have TJ Watt. I probably still make that case. I could probably swap him out for Jared Allen. No, JJ Watt. We're talking. We can't forget about that run that man went on.
JJ Watt is mentioned later because he played inside and outside, so he's given like his own
kind of
section.
Okay.
Which I think was the right way to do it, just because I mean, like, you want to not leave off too many deserving people, because otherwise people will whine like I'm about to. How are you going to not have the single season sack leader? I know TJ tied it, but for a long time, the single season sack leader. If people want to discount Eli's contribution to that Super Bowl, Michael Strahan was the best player on the team for a Super Bowl run. As the widespread opinion on it, since they discount Eli's contribution, and they said, well, the defense is what held Brady to such little points.
This is wild, bro.
Strahan absolutely should be on that. I would put him over everybody that made it. I think he should have been edge one. I think that's crazy that he didn't make it over those guys. All great guys, but Strahan Strahan's better than all of them. I don't care what nobody says.
Now, I did love some Julius Peppers. Loved his game. I'm just like, wow. And there's probably some names I'm already, because I'm so baffled about how they came up with this list that I'm probably even forgetting.
Julius Peppers was a great player. I feel like if you had to make an argument for knocking off anybody, you could argue like Peppers was a bit of a compiler. Like he was less season by season dominant than the others, and a lot of his sack totals came from compiling. I'm not saying that I would choose him to be the one to take off, but I think you can make an argument for him under Strahan on that basis. Myles Garrett, I just don't think has done it for long enough and been dominant for long enough. I mean, like there's a debate whether he's even the best edge over TJ Watt, or has been for the past few years, right? So like, does he necessarily have a more impressive resume than TJ Watt? I think you can make an argument for either of them. You know, and then you have Jared Allen. I agree with you on that. Like, I just like, that's crazy, bro. Like, give the gap tooth sack leader his deserved spot on the throne, man. That's crazy.
I mean, I know Khalil Mack.
Yeah, no, Khalil Mack was another one. I remember there was a list of people that were like, why not this guy? Who was this? Khalil Mack was another one. Jason Taylor, some people mentioned, but I don't think you need to shove him in there.
No, no, and no disrespect to Jay Taylor. I love this game, but I'm not. I mean, honorable mention to Dwight Freeney if we're talking about this time period.
Yeah, Dwight Freeney was another one. Terrell Suggs.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, oh,
I'm burying the lead here. The other one aside from Michael Strahan that should have made it, Von Miller.
Yeah, he's not on there.
He's not even in the practice squad.
Yeah,
I think that of all of them that need to be completely redone, aside from running backs, I think this is Michael Strahan and Von Miller should be edges 1 and 2. You could pick either of them, but I would take all of them before them.
Yeah, that one, head scratcher for sure on that one. Let's move to D tackle. What we got right here? Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, obviously, I don't think there's any argument against that. Calais Campbell, I think makes a lot of sense. Also, they think deserves it. Chris Jones, especially being such a core leader of the defenses that won Super Bowls, I get that reasoning as well.
Hey, look at this bottom line. If Donald doesn't exist, that tells you all you need to know about Chris Jones. All right.
Yep.
Kevin Williams, Cam Hayward, practice squad. D tackle, I think this one's pretty spot on as well.
Yeah, this one's on the up and up for sure.
Yeah, I got no beef with Calais Campbell. We got to remember he's been doing it for a long time and still going. He won't call it a career, but he still finds a job. So that's okay. So they separated it. Okay, defensive tackles and nose tackles. They're calling them different. Hey, Vince Wilfork.
Vince Wilfork. Yeah, I mean, like, of course.
Hey, because I'm like, hey, that was that makes sense.
Bro, put Dex on the practice squad. They didn't even give a practice squad. Like Dex would be your practice squad guy. Like I'm not gonna say that he needs to be over Wilfork, but he should at least be mentioned, right? Like, when's the last time a nose tackle has been as dominant since between Wilfork and Dex?
Mm-hmm. So here's what you said when they did the versatile defensive lineman is JJ Watt.
Yeah,
which makes sense. I mean, yeah.
I think that was the right move. That way you don't have to have him fighting. I mean, like a pretty right, because like if you're treating JJ as an edge, then I think Strahan, Von Miller, and JJ all take 3 spots over the people that they actually chose, right? Like,
I got you. I feel you on that one. For sure. And then linebackers time.
Ray Lewis, obviously, is the best linebacker ever.
Sugar. Bobby Wagner, I definitely don't hate that.
Don't hate it.
Oh, Brian, come on now. Oh,
yep.
my gosh.
Levante David.
Oh, my goodness. Luke Kuechly. Oh my good.
I think they also got that one pretty spot on. I think that I can't think of anybody who should have been on over any of those guys. I mean,
no. And the fact that you got to put Derek Brooks on the practice squad is crazy.
Loaded position.
Yeah. Luke Kuechly was a monster. Levante David is still a monster and still playing. Brian Urlacher, fucking monster.
Bro, Bobby Wagner still not last year, but the year before, he led the league in tackles still as an elderly gentleman.
Still playing. Just and Washington made it a priority to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
Still playing. And then come on, shut up. Like, come on. Yeah, that was spot on. I like that one. I like that. Cornerbacks. All right. So
there's a lot of people, and there's one person who you're not going to see, who I'm going to bring up, that was a big discussion point.
All right. So Darrelle Revis.
Of course.
Yeah. Champ,
yeah. Of course. Leader in pass breakups. Got to take him.
Rondé Barber, don't hate it.
Let's keep seeing the list, because we're gonna see someone who's not there. Richard Sherman has to be there, of course. Legion of Boom.
Yep. Pat Pete.
Charles Woodson's not there.
That's the name I was looking for.
You couldn't have, and he's mentioned in the practice squad of safety because he played both.
Yeah,
but
known for the corner before he even made that switch to safety.
Yep, and really, you couldn't have taken either Rondé Barber or Patrick Peterson out to put him in, like probably Patrick Peterson. No, you couldn't squeeze in Charles Woodson.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked by that one. And no disrespect to Rondé, that's the one that looks at, for me, kind of sticks out more than anything. And it's not hey, great Hall of Fame career Rondé Barber had. I'm not, if I'm thinking Charles Woodson, I'm weighing the options. I'm like, I might mess with Charles a little bit more than I would Rondé. Not a slight on Rondé. I'm just saying, this is, like we said, we're splitting hairs now because we're talking about all-time greats. So.
Right. I think Woodson's one of the people that is one of the obvious picks to put on the list, right? Like in that Darrelle Revis conversation of like, of course he's there. So the fact that Barber and Peterson both are there over him, like one of them could have been moved off to make room for him and moved into the practice squad. Like they put Jalen Ramsey in the practice squad, which, you know, I get it. But like, again, over Charles Woodson as a corner, I get that you mentioned him as safety. Was that just to make room for more corners?
I guess, but I mean that can be applied to a lot of these corners, especially when you get older. But you still got a little bit of juice left. They've always moved to safety. That's always been the move. So I mean, if I don't know, man, I just, that's kind of wild to me, especially because I've always held Charles Woodson in that same regard as a Champ Bailey, as the Darrelle Revis type of corners. Yeah,
he's I think pretty arguably a top at least 5 corner of all time. You could argue that he's like right there with Dion. I think a lot of people do have him right there with Dion. I think deservedly. All-time interceptions leader.
Here's a name I'm surprised didn't make this list. Where's Asante Samuel? They give any consideration in that on this one? I would have at least gave Asante Samuel some consideration on this situation.
I would give him consideration. I don't know if I break him over the people who were here, but I think at the very least you have a conversation about it with.
You can have a conversation between him and Rondé.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you definitely can. I think I agree. I don't think that's a wash either. There's a lot of talent there. I'm sorry, single season interception leader Woodson. What was this stat? I think that was it, right? I think it's crazy to leave him off there. That's crazy.
Okay, so here's my only question, ESPN. If you did 6 receivers, you should have gave us 6 corners.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially if you're making these judgment calls, right? Like, don't shoot yourselves in the foot.
So then, if we're doing it correctly, it should be the 6. If you're going to keep Rondé, then throw Charles Woodson in there, and then I'd have been totally fine with still keeping Jalen Ramsey as a practice squad. Or you could have. I don't know if it's too early to throw Sauce Gardner in there, not sure. I'll let other people have that conversation.
Yeah, I think he's on the trajectory to be there. I think just because he was off of a down year, that might have been why they avoided making the presumption. But I mean, came into the NFL immediately, was the best corner in the league for 2 years. Like it's not a long resume, but there's a conversation to be had just on trajectory.
And I would definitely try to find a way to put Asante Samuel name right next to Jalen Ramsey. If not, make the case if you want to swap him with Rondé. But now safeties. Now two are definitely for sure. It's the other two that we're going to have the conversation about.
Yeah.
This one's the no-brainer.
Yep.
This one, no-brainer.
No-brainer.
So
yep.
Those are two I wasn't worried about.
Yeah.
Okay, B-Dog. Earl Thomas.
I think if Charles Woodson is a corner, this makes sense. If we're treating him like a safety, he should be here over one of them. So that's I think that's also another reason you make Woodson a corner, right? I think that there's more room for corners with the people they have than with safeties, right? Like I think you can more easily be like, we don't need Rondé Barber, we don't need Patrick Peterson. I think with these four guys, I think it's hard to make an argument for excluding any of them.
No. I once I saw him, I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. I just needed to see the last two. The first two was I just need to see these two.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna put right here? And I don't hate it. Brian Dawkins, I love this game. Tone setter. Tone setter. And then
all around guy too.
Oh my god.
Safety with that kind of sack total, right? Like you versatile, put him anywhere.
I'll never forget this. I never forget this hit. Algie Crumpler, tight end for Atlanta Falcons, came down the middle. Michael Vick threw him the ball, and Algie Crumpler got it. And Algie Crumpler was like 6'6", 280, like damn near was pushing 300. Probably was. Big dude. And Brian Dawkins came and laid a motherfucking boom on his ass. And Algie Crumpler, I remember seeing the interview, and Algie Crumpler was like, they asked him, like, hey, man, what's your biggest hit? They was like, hey, man, you remember what it was. It was an NFC Championship game when Brian Dawkins came in and popped my ass across the middle. And then they showed when I said, you got to be flying and come with so much force to hit Algie Crumpler off the ground. Like, literally, put his ass airborne. Like, man, you come across that middle fucking around with Brian Dawkins, man, you better have your affairs in motherfucking order, bro.
Damn, hell yeah, for real.
Hey, your insurance better be pristine, dog, because I had to take some punishment, bro. This shit was going to be crazy, dog. But yeah, I like that. Safeties, kickers, Justin, they want to put him on the list right now?
Who else would you? I mean, Vinatieri maybe, but like I think you got to put Justin Tucker there if we're keeping it football, right?
Yeah, we're keeping it football. Yes, Adam Vinatieri, I see that right there. Seabass, Robbie Gold, Phil Dawson. Look, even Harrison Butker. But look, I got no beef. Justin Tucker. Yeah. Punters, I don't care. Yeah. Okay, return specialist.
Yeah, obviously it's Devin Hester.
I don't know. Come on, man. At that same point, if we're talking about his time, Dante Hall. If they put Priest Holmes up there in running back, Dante Hall for Kansas City was doing some crazy stuff at that time on that same team with Priest Holmes as a punt returner. I respect Devin Hester. Love what he did. If we're talking about practice squad, ain't no way I'm putting Cordell Patterson there. If I got Devin Hester as my starter, I'm putting Dante Hall as my practice squatter. All right.
Okay, but I think Hester isn't Hester the only. He's the only return specialist in the Hall of Fame, right? Up to this point, so
yeah, that's why there's no brainer on this one. What I'm saying is that practice squad. I love you, Cordell Patterson, but there was a guy called Dante Hall that was doing crazy shit, and then Devin Hester will follow that. and done some crazy shit. So there's two guys that just you didn't touch as a special teamers, not even close. Special teamers, Matthew Slater, yeah, Kim, long snapper, yeah, cool. Oh, coaching staff, I didn't know they would.
They did coaching staff. Bill Belichick, obvious. I
Well,
mean, it's just like, of course. Kyle Shanahan, I actually really liked this.
Really, as your OC?
I really like. I mean, who has done more with quarterbacks with less
I hear
than
it.
Kyle Shanahan? I mean, when you're at the point where people don't even give quarterbacks that play for you credit for what they do because of how good
Your
you
scheme.
scheme.
Yeah.
I think that's elite coaching territory, right? Like you turn bad players into good players.
Yeah.
Like that's who there aren't a lot of people who could say that they can do that with this level of consistency too.
That's fair. Here's my only pushback. His offensive play calling gets kind of a little sketchy in these little crunch times in some of these games. And there's now 2 Super Bowls that he's lost now. Again, he's not on the field. I understand. But you can kind of question some of his play calling when it comes to these crunch times. If you're just saying offensive coordinator, okay, so here's what I'm saying. If Bill Belichick is obviously your head coach, and I can't have Andy Reid right there, I would at least put Andy Reid as my offensive coordinator.
Here's my issue with Andy Reid. And Andy Reid's also like obviously an all-time great coach, but Andy Reid never had the level of success that he had until Patrick Mahomes got there.
Yeah.
I do not think he's as QB proof or as personnel proof as Shanahan. I think that as great as he's had, very quality success with past quarterbacks, past teams, right? Like he did well with the Eagles. He did, did well in the past, but he's now in the conversation for all-time coaches because he got Patrick Mahomes. He was never in that conversation before then.
Fair.
Shanahan did that shit with Jimmy Garoppolo. Did that shit with Matt Ryan.
Hey, look, you'll get no pushback from me on that. Because Andy, I love the guy. I love what he's done for the squad, but there's been some times I'm like, man, he can be a frustrating coach. I just think that the offensive play calling he was doing in Philly, it was, love what he was doing. Was able to make four consecutive NFC title games, one Super Bowl appearance. So he knows how to coach.
Yeah, of course. I don't think it's all Mahomes. Yeah.
I love what he did with Brian Westbrook, turned him into a Swiss Army knife. And he has a capability of, good play calling, at times. And look, as a Chiefs fan, and some Chiefs fans that hate the truth, I'll be honest and I'll tell them the truth. Look, he didn't start winning until Patrick got there. And I get it. He was able to resurrect Alex Smith's career. I give him credit for that. Cool. But
he got a lot out of to revitalize Michael Vick. Also, but Michael Vick also was a great talent. He had other issues.
Exactly. He wasn't a scrub.
He was a great talent. I would take Michael Vick as like an individual talent over any of the quarterbacks Shanahan had.
Yeah.
Even Matt Ryan, right? Like look at Matt Ryan's career around Shanahan. Like
oh, I don't hate Wade Phillips. That's actually
don't hate it. Don't hate it. I agree with that. He's so much success, so many great defensive players that he helped develop.
And I don't hate Dave Toll because I love what he's doing in Kansas City right now as special teams, but people forget he was Devin Hester's special teams coach in Chicago. So don't let that escape your memory as well. He was around Devin Hester doing that history making as well. So
so I think he's the guy for that position.
Yeah, he's a guy for that. He's a guy for that. But that's it right there, man. That was pretty dope, man. I know we did a little overtime today, folks. It's okay. It's all good. It's no hurry.
We gave you extra. You're welcome.
Yeah, we almost gave y'all 2 shows, so it's all good. But Randy, I appreciate you, man, sticking around. Obviously, you know, your free time doing this. I definitely appreciate you in the contributions you bring to I.O.W. sports. So I definitely want to commend you on that, my brother, for sure. So I definitely appreciate you for that. But hey, man, we're gonna call it a wraps and shut this thing all down. I appreciate everybody tapping in and chopping it up, talking sports with us in the conversation. Love it, love it, love it. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, spread the word what we got going on. All right. So when we go live and you already, you know, got that subscribe to the I.O.W. sports and you already got that bell notification, so it's gonna let you know when we go live. Hit that share button. All right. The best thing y'all can do for us is tell a friend on what we got going on today, especially if you know they love sports. All right. So you need audio needs, tap into my man Panther on Acid on Instagram with my man Randy Reber. Y'all know where to find me. I.O.W. Sports Network everywhere, all social media platforms. It's been real, y'all. I know what it is. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We out here. I'll see y'all tomorrow night for the last show of the week. Peace.
Yeah. Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to